pieces.
This holiday season, give brilliance that lasts forever at the Diamond Store. Discover the largest selection of loose cash.
Happy Tuesday. Voice is coming back lightly. How's everyone doing today? We all good? Everybody can hear me? Everybody good today?
Season 8.
Not everybody woke up bitching and moaning and complaining. Anybody having a good day today? Big D wants Mendoza. Clay, did you have some Mendoza talk this morning?
That is the
usual.
The usual?
The usual.
What happens if we like another quarterback?
Right. Yeah.
What happens if we like someone else? Wait till that goes over. Wait till Raider Nation finds out. I don't know who we're going to like. I have no idea. I never care about the draft in my life other than John Elway and Peyton Manning.
Something always happens.
And Jamarcus Russell I cared about because I'll say this in the mini monologue. 10 teams, 10 would have took Jamarcus Russell at 1 or 2. A third of the league would have took Jamarcus Russell at the time. How'd that work out? Everybody wanted him. He was actually a really good player, but didn't work out.
But that's the thing. Someone can get injured in an Orange Bowl or someone outperform somebody.
Yeah. Oh, you know someone's going to have a good bowl game and play well and shoot up the charts. All right, put in the chat what you want to talk about. We need everybody to smash the like button. We need everybody to share this. If you have X, I'm on Facebook today. If you want to share this, whatever you want to do. If you can share this, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
If you do have a place of
I'm going to find the stream.
join me at that.
We're right at 8,000 subs. We're about a few away. So we'd like to get to 8,000, then 10, then to 20. And I think with 20, we're going to be great. I don't need 110,000. A lot of those are bots and people we don't want. We want a really tight group of brick-taters in here.
Another show, speak us live or listen to past podcast 24/7 at
So happy December 9th, everybody.
Las Vegas. You need the bridge. We're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete, play with passion, are going to have a chance at that place. Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team.
I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, as we open up the show live from Lotus Broadcasting. My voice is trying to make a comeback coming off the weekend, and it is a slow process. But thanks to my wife for some hot tea and honey. Just got back in time. I've been really chancing this. I interviewed Pete Carroll at 11. We go to about 11:12. He's always on time, always. And then I have to get in the parking lot of the Raiders, good parking spot, and drive on the 15 to the 215 to Flamingo, down Flamingo to Durango. I could never do that in any city in America. I couldn't do that in New York, San Francisco, LA, Chicago. But I made it here. And Clay's ready to go with me as we're ready to give you another show. And that's really what we're doing. And that's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. You also know they own the Strat. Think about that. The largest tavern group in Southern Nevada also owns the Strat. And they do so much in the community, especially around the holidays. Everything they do in the community is second to none. And we are thrilled to be proud partners with them and remain that. And my longest standing partner as we open it up. Head on out to PT's for the best happy hour in town. So let me give you a couple of things first that you can kind of think about. You should be dialing now. Find out at the end of 2025, I'm reminding fans, I got into the business 30 years ago, and we didn't have the internet. We didn't have the internet. So when I got into the business, all there was were phone calls. Then the internet popped up, and then we started to change sports radio a little bit. But it's been the same sports radio since I was on Ticket 1050 and Sports Fan Radio, Fox Sports Radio for 17 and a half years. At one point, that was a record. And now been here a long time on Lotus Broadcasting, and I've been with, I think, 6 or 7 years on Sirius XM. So I have 3 jobs currently, and I'm very lucky to have them. That could change any day. 1 could go, 2 can go, 2 out of 3 can go. Anything can happen. And I've been doing this long enough where I'm good. I've done this long enough. I've been fortunate. I'm good. So I go in every day. I try to do the best job I can. So today I interviewed Pete Carroll. I'm going to do this show, and then I'm going to do a 3-hour show tonight. All right. I don't need a trophy for that. I just want some respect. That's all. Just respect from the people for what I try to do, what I try to give you, and what you can give me. That's all this has ever been about. Some days I have good days, other days I have bad days, but I don't think I have a weak show. I don't come in here and look at Clay and others before and say, hey, let's mail it in today, which a lot of people do. I don't have one of those shows with 7 co-hosts, and I'd like one. I think I deserve a point somewhere down the road, Clay, where it's almost like a mean trick that I'm the only guy left in sports radio that doesn't have a full-time co-host. I consider you a great friend and a guy who can talk whenever you want. But, these other shows that have 9 guys talking, and the guys, not the guy behind the glass, but, they have the other 3 behind the glass.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice at 60 years old, I turned 60 last week, if I had that, they gave me a little bone?
Yeah, they had 3 writers for you,
3
passing you stuff back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it would be great. But for some reason, they still think I can do this all by myself with the help of Clay and what I do at night. So the point is, I woke up today, gave the dog a walk, which is the happiest time of my day, seeing my wife and walking my dog, which is peace, and then go to work. And I drove in for the Pete Carroll interview today saying to myself, oh, boy, what are we going to do here? And Pete Carroll's been great to me. So was Antonio Pierce. So was Josh McDaniels. So was Rich Bisaccia. So was John Gruden. So was Dennis Allen. So was everybody I've been interviewing back almost 30 years. They've all been good guys. None of them have been blank holes. None of them. And you don't know any of them. You've never met one of them, most of you. Never met them. But you have a theory of who they are as a human being. And that annoys the hell out of me. That's the only thing that annoys the hell out of me, not their win-loss record. If they don't win, they're not going to be here. If they win, they're going to stay here. This is Captain Obvious stuff. But the fact that there's a disconnect between these coaches being human beings and trying to do this and what they're trying to do with, and some of the reaction they're getting from a small percentage of our fan base, eats away at everybody. Eats away at the fans, eats away at me. And Pete Carroll and I talked about it a little bit. We talked about the field goal. And he went through the field goal again out of respect because he's already talked about it. So he was able to kind of talk about it again. And he summed it up. He basically said that he was hoping they'd have more time. He was politicking for more time with the ref. They didn't get it. He did the backdoor cover without knowing. Look, if you think Pete Carroll really knew what the spread was and was trying to get in field goal range for him to cover the spread, you're nuts, man. You need a break. You need to go somewhere. Not an insane asylum, but you need to go somewhere. If you believe in that conspiracy theory, I fear for you. I don't feel sorry for you. I fear for you. If you're that person and you think that that's really happening and your mind is melting at that level, you need some help. So he kind of didn't laugh about it, but we talked about it. But I followed up with him on the topic that, he's been doing this longer than most coaches and how to deal with the media scrutiny, right? How to deal with the media scrutiny. And what's happening, and he's learned how to deal with it. And then he gave me a little bit more than he normally gives me. This is the in-house interview. He's not interviewing with the Broncos staff and the Eagles staff. He's interviewing with me in-house. And I'm asking him every question about how they're losing. Every question, broken plays, this and that. I'll get to Kenny Pickett in a second. And he basically told me what I want to tell you today. The only way that he could ever go out there and do his job to the best of his ability is he's got to go out and keep all the noise down so he doesn't bring that to his players and his coaches. Who the hell has a problem with that? Who's sitting around going, man, the coach should stir the pot. The coach should go in there and cause chaos. The coach should feel down about losing so badly that he brings that energy to the players. That's some of the knuckleheads I'm dealing with on social media, right? Who just put their camera in front of their face and just try to say stuff and get clicks. There's a lot of good people who do that professionally on YouTube, and I'm never talking about them. I'm talking about the idiots screaming at the coach from behind the bench and trying to make a name for themselves. That to me is repulsive. I've never been that type of fan, and I have the right to say whatever I want, just like you do. I'm just not that guy. So with that being said, I think Pete Carroll was honest with me about what's happening and how he's trying to deflect that, and coach the team the rest of the season. No one else is going to tell you that in the world but me. I just sat down with him 45 minutes ago, and we got into everything that's happening with the team, and it's not good. And he walked through, and I asked him, I go, here's what I asked him specifically. You'll hear it tomorrow. I gave him Kenny Pickett's passer rating, 129, the touchdown. I said, where does Kenny stand on competition with Geno? He gave me the answer. You'll hear it tomorrow live. But without putting words in his mouth, he talked about Geno's taken a lot of hits this year. He's been hit a lot. And that we'll see what happens. Kenny Pickett will get the work tomorrow when the players come back. He'll get to work with the team, and we'll see what happens next with Geno. Is there anybody else that realizes that Pete and Geno are tight and Geno and Pete are tight? Nothing wrong with being tight with your coach and tight with your quarterback, but it didn't work this year. The quarterback they brought in, it didn't work. It's unfortunate. He might still be here. They might use him as the bridge quarterback to Mendoza. I don't know. You don't know either. We don't even know if Mendoza is going to be a Raider or not. I have no idea where the Raiders are going to draft, what they're going to do, if they even like him. Remember, Clay, you and I were just talking about that. If you subscribe on YouTube for free, you get this before the show at JT the Brick YT. We don't even know if, God forbid, he gets banged up. We hope he doesn't in his championship. He's got to play a lot of playoff games. He gets a bye week, but he's got to play 2 before. That's a lot of playoff games. And we don't know if John Spytek and Tom Brady are going to find another quarterback that they like more. We have no idea, but it seems like everybody has Mendoza, Clay, Mendoza on their mind.
It's good that everyone wants to go and find out who's coming up next, but never fall in love with somebody in December, because by April, things change, combines, injuries, and also evaluations change, because even somebody that we talked about last year at this time, Shedeur Sanders, went way later in the draft than people expected.
And we don't know what's going to happen with the coach at the end of the year in regards to his mindset, what he wants to do. But we all know that Pete Carroll's been a winner his whole career. No matter what the record is this year, it's not going to affect his legacy as a winning Super Bowl coach. You can never take the Lombardis, the 2 NFC championship games away from him, the USC championships. That's all in museums, locked up, and it's all really impressive. And whoever the coach is coming in, they're not going to have the history of Pete Carroll. But again, I'm not in the prediction business. I interview the coach. I host the pregame, the postgame. I do a couple of radio shows, and I try to give everybody an opportunity to represent themselves in Raider Nation. That's all I've ever done. That's all I ever will do, is give you an opportunity to sound off if you can handle it. If you can handle it. Some people can't handle it, just like toddlers can't handle crossing the street. You don't let a 3-year-old cross the street on Boulder Highway. You don't say, go cross the street, I'll see you on the other side. You don't let a toddler do that. You don't let an alcoholic get in a car and drive at 3 a.m. You don't allow them to do that. There's certain things that people, you can't allow them to do. And they take it out on me because I don't allow them to be just bad people to our owner, coach, or players, on their flagship station. That's all. I'll take that heat all day long. I'll take that heat every day. Every day I'll take that heat, not because it's part of my job. I just think I'm a decent person, and I'm not going to let people do this. I mean, there are a bunch of fans who are in L.A., claim to be Raider fans, screaming and cursing at Geno Smith. Can you imagine that? You imagine wearing your colors in a battle in another stadium and yelling and cursing and making personal shots at your quarterback who's getting the crap beat out of him. Imagine that. And then laughing with everybody claiming you're a fan. Keep them away. There's such a small percentage, but they're the loudest ones. And they don't realize how ridiculous they are. Now, there's a lot of fans that I was talking to a fan at Allegiant Stadium. I had a bunch of buddies in town for an event that my wife put on for me and a good friend. And a buddy of mine wanted to go to the game. So he went to the game, and I saw him at halftime because he was leaving to catch a flight to go back to Florida. He says, man, it's loud in there. Not so much with Denver. There's a lot of loud Raider fans upset. I go, yeah, they should be. The product isn't very good. They can't win. They don't seem to have a vision of how to win games. They're not going through the motions. They're just not playing well. And he goes, yeah. He goes, but wow. He was in the lower bowl, I think section 140. And he's like, man, it's pretty intense in there. And this is a guy who came with me to Oakland back in the day. when it wasn't good in Oakland, like Jamarcus Russell years. So things aren't going good. Things aren't going good. When the quarterback flipped off the fans, I didn't support him for that. Like someone in my chat says, you mean the quarterback who gave the finger to the fans? Yeah, he apologized for it. Doesn't mean you have to win him. I'm not telling you to go out and buy a Chino jersey. You got the wrong guy. I'm not saying go out. I'm the guy asking everybody, when is he not going to play and someone else going to get a chance? But when I see Gino in the building, it's a very fair relationship because he's the quarterback of the team, and I have respect for the players who play. I don't play in the NFL, neither do you. I don't put my brain and body on the line to entertain football fans and have the possibility of breaking my back and blowing out my Achilles. I respect the guys who play on the team. They're trying to do the best they can. And that's really what the focus was today on Pete Carroll, as we talked about. Oh, you're going to hate this. I'm sorry. We talked about Caleb Rogers playing well. Well, you got fans saying, why didn't he play earlier? Because he wasn't good enough. They practiced every day. He wasn't good enough to get on the field. He wasn't. Now, could he have played earlier and got a better start? Yeah, I would have played him earlier, but I'm not the coach. So when it comes to all of this, there is a lot of toxicity in the conversation of Raider Nation, and it's how you want to handle it. I got this thing covered. I can get through 2 hours a day blindfolded. I can get through this. It's not hard. But I want some Raider fans to have something to kind of look forward to, and that'll probably be next year. I don't know many Raider fans who are looking forward to this Eagles game. Now, the Eagles played last night and looked god-awful. If the Raiders had 4 or 5 or 6 wins and we weren't in this first pick overall debate, this would kind of be a fun game to say, look, I don't think the Raiders are going to win, but, man, the Eagles do not look good. And to be in that game would be a lot of fun. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going there saying the Raiders are coming out of Philly alive, winning the game and blowing that draft pick. But it's something that Pete Carroll's going to get him on the plane. Pete Carroll's won a lot bigger games than this game on Sunday. Do you all understand that? He's won a lot of games much bigger than this Raiders-Eagles game. Not even close. So he'll get him there. He'll travel there. He'll get him in the hotel. He'll throw on a video before the meeting. He'll try to get him going because that's what he does. And all I wanted to do here in the monologue is remind you that Pete Carroll is trying to coach through all this. That's it. You can handle it for whatever you want. Again, there are toddlers who can't handle that, and they're just going to freak out. And there are adults who say, yeah, JT's right. They're trying to play the game. We have TV shows to produce, radio shows to host. We have private events that are going on, charity events. They all go forward. The Raiders don't walk into the building this morning, and Sandra Douglas Morgan doesn't stand in front of the organization and go, everybody go home. We've won 2 games today. We're not going to sell sweets. We're not going to do charity work. We're not going to help in the community. That's what happens. They're a business. And they got to get through the end of the year. And then we'll have the offseason to talk about what's going to happen with the draft, which probably, I think I said something similar to this last season because Antonio Pierce lost 10 in a row. And I said this upcoming offseason last year is going to be one of the most important in the history of the Raiders. I apologize for that. It was a new regime. They're trying to get it right. It didn't work out, and they're going to try again. Will the regime change a bit? Possibly. Will the coaching staff change a bit? Absolutely. Will that be the head coach? I don't know. You don't know either. But there's a lot of people with wishful thinking on where they want to be. So that's it. Usually I finish that. I have full phone calls. We don't anymore. Everybody's just a zombie. Everybody's just like staring around. What's he saying? Well, what? What did he say? He talked to the coach. We do a show. Now I open up the phones to hear from Raider fans. What do you think about the Eagles, the Bronco loss? Whatever you want. As long as you keep it respectful, it's your show. Always been that way. 702-365-9200. That's it. And when you do that, when you come in here and you show a little bit of respect, but you show your aggravation, I'm good with that. I've never not been good with that. I think I'm pretty good at being an aggravated, angry radio host when I have to be. I don't mind aggravated and angry calls, Clay. I think I've taken more angry, aggravated calls than anyone in the history of the Raiders. More than Greg Papa, Bill King, or anybody else who's been here. I'm the guy who's taken all the calls Now you got some new people coming in. Q's fantastic. You guys in the morning, fantastic. But you're not catching me in your lifetime, taking more calls than me. I don't care how much. You got to work another 25 years to take more Raider calls than me. So I check that box too. That box is checked. There's no one coming in second place on that, no matter what happens. So we've done all of this. We're just trying to figure out how to get to the end of the year. And normally I'd be like, let's win every game. Nope. Not this time. Not going to say tank. Not going to say lose on purpose. Understand where the team is. Understand what we're doing. I'm a big fan of playing the younger guys. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to get to. So this is going to be a tough topic for all of us to deal with. And I'd like to hear from you on this topic today because I think it's important. 702-365-9200. I'm not into benching healthy players. Do you understand that? If you're healthy, Max says it perfectly. You get 17 days a year out of 365 to play a game. That's it. Not practice, not preseason games. 17 opportunities to play football. And Max is going to the Hall of Fame. I don't see any way that Max Crosby isn't in the Hall of Fame. So Max wants more sacks. He wants more tackles for losses. So it's going to be really difficult to get Max off the field unless he has a knee that needs to be drained or something like that goes on, and that could happen. He's been on the injury report. But the two players I think we should discuss the most are Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. Brock was injured this year. Significantly injured. He wasn't right for a while. Now he looks perfect. He looks really good. I don't want to bench Brock Bowers now and protect him and put him in bubble wrap, do you? I'd like to see him play because he's going to have all-time career yards too, right? So why give up 4 games or 3 games with 10 receptions on his career? Why give up 30 receptions in his long-term career and maybe 6 or 7 touchdowns and just lose it? So I like Brock playing, but if the game gets out of hand, like 30-7, 24-3, which might not, then you take Brock out of the game. Now here's the tough one, Ashton Genty. What do you do? What do you do with him? You're going to keep running him into the back of a brick wall? You can. You can run him up the middle for no gain. You've been doing that all year. You want to do it again? And take any chance on hurting him where he has to spend much of the offseason recovering from wear and tear? Another guy who doesn't want to come out of the game, wants to play. And then you go to the offensive line, who's ever youngest and on the clock for the future, play him. Just play him. Same thing with defense. If you told me, hey, man, no more, Tyree Wilson isn't going to play another snap, or Malcolm Kuntz coming off the injury, you want to play Tonka Hemingway, Charles Snowden, whoever, I'm good with that. Linebackers don't seem to play. The linebackers who are young don't seem to get on the field other than special teams. So if you want to take a Landon Roberts and Devin White, who's playing his ass off, Devin White's playing his ass off, he'll miss a tackle or two. You want to take Jamal Adams out of the game and say, hey, man, we want to put in some practice squad linebackers. No problemo. No problem. Then do whatever you want to do. A.J. Cole's going to play. Daniel Carlson's going to play. But it's going to come down to Geno and Kenny Pickett. And I asked him directly about that. That's all I could. I know you would have had a better question. You would have said, bench Geno's ass, and what are we doing with Kenny? I'd have phrased it a little bit different. But I asked him where they're at competition-wise. It sounds like, not putting words into his mouth, that we're going to see Kenny Pickett in practice this week be the lead, and then we'll see if Geno gets better or not and what's going to happen there. I don't know who gives you the better chance to win. I've been saying for weeks that I think Kenny Pickett deserves to start because Geno's played so poorly. But I also know that Geno's played badly because of the offensive line. And some other fans that get it, who don't want to kill Geno verbally every time they call in, are telling everybody, yeah, look, Geno hasn't played well, but let's give Geno's been hit a lot. That's what Pete Carroll told me today. He's been hit a lot. And he can't set his feet, and he's going through this really difficult time. And he's not the first quarterback to do that. I mean, in the history of the NFL, there's been a lot of quarterbacks. Didn't Peyton Manning had a 1-win year? I mean, you looked at, remember Baker Mayfield coming into the league? How'd that work out? Remember some of these other quarterbacks who came into the league and couldn't win a game? Geno's not the first to struggle. But it's unfortunate because Geno was supposed to be the answer. He was. Geno Smith was supposed to be the answer to stabilize the position after Gardner Minshew and Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr. Oh, in regards to Derek Carr, I'm on a roll, so please give me a moment. I know what it's gonna take for Derek Carr. He can't play. He has to be traded from New Orleans, but that's wrapping up. Okay, Phillip Rivers today was signed by the Colts. He's going to go play on the practice squad. So reports are he will not play against Seattle, but he's going to play. They only need 2 more wins. They're probably going to lose this game. They know they're going to lose this game. They're going to give him the opportunity to come in and play the last 3 and maybe get him to the playoffs. Derek Carr's 10 years younger than Phillip Rivers. So I put out there that Derek Carr's the answer. He's 34 years old, and that broke the internet. People losing their mind. Oh, my God, how could you say that about Derek? I don't know what Derek. I haven't talked to Derek in a long time. I wish him well and his family, his wife, and beautiful kids. I don't believe that Derek Carr is going to stay retired. And I don't mean retire, come out of retirement for one day to sign a Raider contract. No, I don't mean that. I think that Derek Carr at 34 years old, where Tom Brady played till 43 and Rivers is playing at 44, I believe Derek Carr is going to play again. I think he's going to have opportunity to play. I don't know who it's going to be, but I pointed out he'd be perfect for the Colts. If it was able to work out, he'd come in there and have an opportunity to lead the Colts to the playoffs. That's not a shot at the Raiders. It's just a better fit than Phillip Rivers. But I understand he's coming off a shoulder injury, and eventually he'll be healed. And I don't think that Derek Carr's goal in life is to be a podcaster. Okay? He's involved in his church very heavily. He'll be involved at some point with the Raiders, I'm assuming, later on in his life. I still think that Derek Carr has some football left. I do. And if that triggers you, I don't know why. I wish Derek Carr well. And I wish Geno Smith well. I wish everybody well. I just want to get through the season like you all do and run a radio show. So here's what we got today. We got Jeff Sherman with the moving lines, how to bet these games coming up. We have Levi Edwards and then Howard Balzer, the Hall of Fame voter, on what could happen to Rivers if he plays. If Rivers plays, he loses his 5 years of being off, and he has to go back in line and wait another 5 years. I just saw Phillip Rivers. He was sitting next to us at the Hall of Fame. As Eric Allen got in, he was right next to us with Antonio Gates. I think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. I do. Not first ballot, like Eli, not first ballot, but eventually he gets in. Raider O in San Diego on the Raiders mobile app. Thanks for calling.
Hey, JT, just wanted to call you. We're still out here listening, like you said. And, yeah, it has been a rough season. Real quick on Phillip Rivers, if it was Tim Brown coming out of retirement 5 years after, personally, I think they should change the rule to he already did his 5 years. If he comes to play, let him play. If he makes the Hall, put him in the Hall. There's still guys that I'd like to see something out of, even though it seems like a complete lost cause. Zamir White's still out there, remember him? Raheem Mostert's been doing his thing, absolutely, but it's later in the season. We got to know if Zamir is a complete wash. Again, they were at practice, so there's
Zamir White's been inactive most of the year. He's not going to be a part of this team going forward, I would doubt. But if you want to put him in the game and activate him so he can take some of the hits away from Ashton Genty, I have no problem with that. If you want to give him 5 carries a game and that's 5 less hits that Ashton's going to take, I'm fine with that. I'd say the same thing about Dylan Lobby or anybody else.
Yeah. And I think there's still, whether it's giving him, film so that he gets signed by someone else or perhaps trade for a late pick. If he can somehow muster any value, that's a great thing. But obviously, definitely our youngsters that we want to keep is the priority. And as for the quarterbacking, when Kenny went in last week, I immediately said to myself, my first judgment here is going to be when he's under pressure. When he's under pressure means the line lost that battle. What does he do? And he just looked so quick, understanding where he needed to go with the ball, moving. I don't think Geno can replicate that.
Wait a second. I agree with you. I agree with that. I think he could play better than Geno the way Geno's playing now, but he was in during garbage time. He was in during garbage time. That wasn't a point in the game that had any impact on the game, and he threw a pass to a guy who never caught a ball before. So it wasn't like he went the length of the field in the AFC Championship game, but I thought I saw enough from Kenny Pickett to let him play and start the next game, right?
I understand if Gino's healthy that they will go with him. Personally, I think at this stage, as much as Pete has a relationship with him, I also think it is contractual. He's paid big to be this starter. Now he's meant to be here next year. But, I think he cannot retain his capability. And Kenny also has an arm. I don't know about that. The lasers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we're going to keep watching and hope for good things for the guys that are working for next year. And thanks for doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it. Look, I know a lot of fans don't want to win games because they don't want to lose the draft pick, and I respect that. All I'm just saying is, handle it the right way on this radio station, and we're good. Just handle it at a level. I know you don't want to win any more games. I know you want the draft pick. Put yourself in the rest of our situations. Okay, some of us are going to be different in regards to how we handle it. None of us are perfect, but this is a team that tries to win every game. And you've never called in or had to ever say that this team didn't play hard. Once for Pete Carroll and once for Antonio Pierce. They played hard right down to the end. And the teams weren't very good. And it would have been nice if this was a team that could have put up more wins. If this team had 6 wins, they should have had 6 by now. We went through the list. The Chicago block field goal, 2-point conversion against Jacksonville. They already have 2. That would be 4. The 10-win game against Denver is a game I thought they should have won. That would be 5. Let's say they just had 5. And they'd be picking 8th, 9th, or 10th. I would really want them to go into Philadelphia and play their ass off because Philly doesn't look very good to me. The Chargers won last night. Let me say that before we come back. The Chargers had their biggest win ever in the modern day of LA. That was their game. If you don't like the Chargers like I don't, oh boy, that was big. They're trying to build their brand. Justin Herbert outplayed Justin Hurts. He did. They won it on defense, and Jim Harbaugh was the head coach. That was a big win for the Chargers. I was hoping they'd lose. The only thing that would make me feel good the rest of the season is if both the Chargers and the Chiefs missed the playoffs. Denver's already in. The Chargers made the playoffs last night. They're pretty much a lock to make it because of the fact that they beat the Eagles in overtime. So we're going to have to deal with the Chargers in the playoffs. Hopefully Denver and the Chargers lose real early in the playoffs or don't win a playoff game. Right? The last time the Raiders went to the playoffs, they didn't win a playoff game. I don't want to see the Chargers or Denver win a playoff game. That's the monologue. We thank everybody. I want to thank Virgin Hotels Las Vegas because one of my dear friends, Cliff Atkinson, has done a lot for me at that property, and I'll never forget it. Thank you to Virgin. All right. That was really off the cuff, man. I kind of went a lot of different directions there. All right. We got Levi going to join us, just waiting on the exact time and waiting to hear back from Balzer.
Locked in the offensive coordinator, locked in the same vision, and you get that, get a long history of being successful, and I don't doubt that he can't turn it around pretty quick.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness, weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. Raider Nation, it's JT. I partnered with Charles Woodson and his Woodson. Hammer the like button. I think we got a couple of people on Facebook today. We're not going to do Facebook every day, but I got a lot of friends and family and people that have been watching me for a long time that are happy that we're on Facebook. So as I'm sitting here on Facebook, we appreciate that. And thank you for those on our Facebook page. Thank you. I'm not going to do this every day, but I think the Facebook audience is pretty good. Pretty good. And my family gets to watch on Facebook because my family's not sitting on X a lot. Is Mendoza our guy? How do we know that? ARJ, how would we know if Mendoza's our guy? Question is Mendoza your guy? 872.com. Find out about apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here. See my son in here. One of my other sons is traveling. My show and Raider Nation Radio.
Hey, it's Chris Fox with Simply Vegas Real Estate. If you're buying, selling, investing, or you have a property in distress and you need to sell fast, call me 702-419-4346. 2-419-4346 or at foxsellsvegas.com 100960.
The wait is over. Finlay, Ilios Grenadier, celebrating its grand opening. Join us this Thursday at 4:30 to 7 p.m. at 210 North Gibson Road in Henderson. Celebrate this exciting milestone with live music, light hors d'oeuvres, and complimentary valet party. Don't miss the ribbon cutting at 5:45 p.m. Be among the first to explore their stunning new dealership and check out the tough, no-nonsense Ilios Grenadier. Built to conquer any terrain.
I'm going to give you a tomorrow, Clay. Tomorrow aesthetics.
Sign up to get William Hill Nevada Miles account, and you can earn up to a $250 bonus bet at your first qualifying wager. The William Hill Nevada Mobile Sports app allows you to bet on the go from iPhone, iPad, or Android device from anywhere in Nevada. Sign up today, and you will never miss another question. The largest wagering menu, the mobile sports app features same-game parlays, early cash out, and live in-play wagering on all major sports. For more information, official rules, and to see participating sign-up locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The power.
Kenny Pickett went to the same high school as Phil Villapiano. Phil's a big fan of Kenny and talks to him. Gabriel says, what's my thoughts on Mendoza? Same as yours. Good player. Don't know how good he is. Don't know if he's the number one pick overall. I have no clue. No idea. I think if he's there at number one and the Raiders have the first or second pick, I think they need a franchise quarterback.
Barkley.
If he's the best one that grades out, take him. Whoever's the best quarterback available high in the first round, if I was the Raiders, I think I would take the bookend with Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers. That's what I would do.
And Southwest Gas from a location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Evan Harlan here from Monday Night Football in Westwood Bluff. Join us all season long for primetime action on the road to the playoffs and Super Bowl 16. Each week.
Remember, whoever has the number one pick, the Giants, if it's not the Raiders, they're going to trade that pick to someone who wants a quarterback. The Raiders might have to trade up from number 2 to number 1 to get the quarterback. They might have to if they love the quarterback.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new number one beer in the U.S.
A truly crazy story. This is real. Phillip Rivers, sources tell the insiders, is signing with the Indianapolis Colts practice squad. He is going to practice, and then we will see. That is the short answer. The long answer is Phillip Rivers now joins a quarterback room that features Daniel Jones, who's out for the season with a torn Achilles, Anthony Richardson, who is still out with a fractured orbital bone, and Riley Leonard, who has a PCL sprain in his knee, who may actually not be able to play Sunday either. That is what Phillip Rivers joins. Now, he doesn't need to know the system. He knows it. He's been with Shane Steichen for years, was with him with the Chargers, and knows the offense extremely well.
Ian Rappaport, NFL Network. JT, back with you. I've been telling you about the men's spa that I've been going to. Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. It's been fantastic in Summerlin. And whatever you need, they have it. I just want to clarify to everybody, it's a men's spa. You're not walking into a spa with a whole bunch of ladies. Not that there's anything wrong with this. This is built for men who need more confidence. You want to look your best, whether it's skincare, hair restoration, weight loss treatment. Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men is your road to newfound confidence. And I really like it. And the times I've been there, it's been fantastic. From the hydrofacial, if you want them to look at your hair, they can help you with that. Weight loss, if you're interested in that. Botox for men, haven't been there, done that. But there's a whole bunch of men there getting these treatments, and I think it could fit you perfectly. That's TMRWformen.com. TMRWFORMEN.com. If you go there, I've sent a few people there, and they love it. A men's spa in Vegas, which is really cool. They're trying to connect with us. because we got a lot of men listening to the show, and give it a shot. You could have a lot of fun with it. So Levi Edwards is going to come up here, and also we'll have Jeff Sherman with the moving lines going to join us shortly. If you have any comments about what you saw from the Denver game, I told you that I interviewed Pete Carroll today. He gave me some information on Kenny Pickett, and Kenny will be competing to play this week because Geno's not healthy yet. Remember, today's the off day. And I don't know this to be true, but I'm assuming Geno's in the building getting treatment on his injury. And you just heard Phillip Rivers is back in the league because there's no more quarterbacks. There's no more quarterbacks. We've run out of quarterbacks. We're done. How many times can we go to Tyrod Taylor and Gardner Minshew? No more. Everyone's got their quarterback, wishes they had a better backup quarterback. And you got to hope that some come out of college every few years that can play long term. And if they can't, they'll be out of the league. It is hard to make it to the NFL as a quarterback. I mean, there's some good players that played at a high level. Colt McCoy, career backup. Other guys, Tyrod Taylor, as I just mentioned. Geno was a backup for a long time before he became a starter and showed what he can do in Seattle. Look at Trey Lance with the Chargers now, Clay. I mean, that guy came out. Was he taken number 3 overall by San Francisco? They gave up multiple picks for him. He can't get on the field and play.
No, Jacoby Brissett still finding meaningful reps even in Arizona. When they have a Kyler Murray to think about and other guys they could be grooming, they feel like Jacoby Brissett is still able to make the connections that they want on offense.
What you need with a quarterback, and again, if you want to talk about Kenny Pickett and Geno, today would be the day to do it because I just got out of the interview with Pete Carroll, 702-365-9200. When it comes to a backup quarterback, you just want a guy who can come in and get the ball out. It's not about holding on to the football. You can't have a backup quarterback fade back and look. That's not – some of them can do it. A few. Baker Mayfield did it. Remember when he played for the Rams and hit us hard in one game? He was pretty good at that. But really what you want your backup quarterback to do is get to the line of scrimmage with the play and get the ball out. Kenny Pickett proved he could do that against Denver. Oh, I asked Pete Carroll about the fact that the defense went 7 of 10 on third down and gave up 27 first downs. And Coach Carroll told me, he goes, the tackling wasn't good. They're just not tackling well. That's disappointing because Pete Carroll has been one of the modern day, I'm talking last 20, 30-year tackling teachers. The guy who brought the rugby tackle to Seattle, the guy who can teach you and throw up on film how to tackle properly. Pete's the guy for that, and they're not tackling well. And he'll be evaluated along with Patrick Graham on all the missed tackles this year. There's been a lot of them. There's been a lot of missed tackles. And when it comes to missed tackling, if it's one or two types of missed tackles. First is the swing and whiff, where you literally go to tackle someone and they give you a head fake and you miss them. That's terrible. But the Raiders have been getting hit this year on trying to tackle people hard and bouncing off them, and then they get another couple of yards. Pete Carroll was talking to me about the fact that, we're seeing 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4 instead of 2nd and 8 because they're getting their hands on someone and they're falling forward for 4 more yards. That has got to be cleaned up. At every level, the Raiders can clean it up. And it's too late to do it to make the playoffs this year or to win competitive games. But it's something that we can address. I want to get to, if we can, do we have the game-winning interception for the Chargers? Clay, this was a hell of a play. Jalen Hurts had a wide-open touchdown to win the game. Wide open. The corner got his hands on the ball and tipped it, and this is what happened.
Hurts in the shotgun. A touchdown would win it for the Eagles. Hurts pulls it, throws, intercepted, game over! Intercepted, game over! Game over, the 4th interception, Tony Jefferson. Unbelievable. Unk does it.
So that bothered me last night because I don't want to play Chargers radio on this show ever. But I was doing my show last night and I took a commercial break and I went out and I looked at my wife and I'm like, can you believe this? It's like the Chargers are getting breaks and we can't make breaks. Well, I got to call it the way I see it. The Chargers are putting themselves in a position where they're making plays and the Raiders aren't doing that. The Chargers just beat the world champs last night, the world champions. How about that? You think that's a big win for Jim Harbaugh? It's arguably the biggest win he's ever had with the Chargers. And that's what you're as good as your record. The Chargers got 9 wins, and their last win is against the world champs. They're in a really good spot going forward. And they're playing without their two best offensive linemen, their left tackle and right tackle. Imagine when those guys come back healthy. So the Raiders have some uphill sledding that they got to do. And now they have the big test as Philadelphia is going to want to punish the Raiders. And they're going to want to get Saquon Barkley going. We'll find out about the line in that game. If you've been betting against the Raiders, you've been doing pretty well until the backdoor cover. Jeff Sherman at the Westgate on the backdoor cover and what that backdoor cover meant to the Westgate. Hey, we're brought to you by M-Ride, the luxury concierge shuttle service. M-Ride will take you round trip from Circa the Palms and now the link to Allegiant Stadium.
Wake up with the morning tailgate.
We're talking to the Hall of Famer, our Monday morning cornerback, EA Eric Allen.
I think this is the time now to really see what Kenny Pickett has with his football team. It just seemed a little different. And, if he doesn't play well, there's always Aiden O'Connell right there. I'm not sure why he's been the emergency quarterback, but I would love to see a competition in the next couple of weeks between AOC and Kenny to find out who's that guy going into next year.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m.
Make every meal merry this holiday season with Raisin Cane's. JT the Brick from Raider Nation Radio, proud partner with Raisin Cane's. They got the cook-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, that buttery Texas toast, and how about the cane sauce, the best of the best. Raisin Cane's chicken fingers, one love. And remember, everybody, Raisin Cane's is now open on Fremont and Easter.
Now, let's be honest. When a man takes care of himself, you can tell. The clean look, smooth skin, confident smile, fit body. Oh, yeah, we notice. That's why I sent my guy to Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men in Summerlin. They specialize in hair restoration, GLP-1 weight loss, advanced skin care, and neurotoxins. And yeah, men get Botox too. Tailored treatments, no fluff, just real results that make a real difference. Book now at tmrwformen.com. That's tmrwfor.com.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at DeCastro-Verde, we founded this firm for you. We're the DeCastro-Verde brothers, and we have your back.
Brotherswin.com.
Raider Nation, it's JT. I partnered with Charles Woodson and his Woodson Whiskey. It's the official bourbon whiskey of the Black Hole and the Las Vegas Raiders. If it wasn't your game day whiskey, it is now. Raise a bottle at your next tailgate and toast to the silver and black. The limited edition Black Hole bottles now available at woodsonwhiskey.com. Use the promo code JT the Brick at checkout for 15% off. That's woodsonwhiskey.com, the official whiskey of Raider Nation. Please celebrate responsibly.
Hey, it's Chris Fox with Simply Vegas Real Estate. If you're buying, selling, investing, or you have a property in distress and you need to sell fast, call me 702-419-4346, 702-419-4346, or at foxsellsvegas.com for the 100960.
Your UNLV Running Rebels will be back at the Thomas & Mack Center to open Mountain West Conference action against the Bulldogs of Fresno State on Saturday, December 20th. Come celebrate the holiday season with the Rebels. Tickets are on sale now, and fans can save big by bundling the game into a mini plan. Get your tickets now at UNLVtickets.com or by calling 702-739-FANS. That's Running Rebel basketball against Fresno State on Saturday, December the 20th.
It's holiday time at Garden Ford. Shoppers trading unwanted cars for the best present of the year. A brand new Ford. From the rugged F-150 to the stylish Explorer and the efficient Escape, Garden Ford delivers unbeatable choice.
Isn't that wild when you think about it? I don't want to think about it, but yeah.
It's one of the things you do every day.
Yeah. It's tough to lose, man, because as I'm talking to Clay, when you're losing football games, it has a negative effect on a lot of people. You got to be super positive to get through that, because you don't want that to infiltrate your life. You don't want your life to be negative, right? This is just a job, but it's more than a job. It's a lifestyle. Yeah, when they run up the middle into the pile, I'm not very happy with that. All right, Jeff Sherman.
Exclusively
Terribles. Visit terribles.com for details. Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and DIYers. Van Dale Industrial Hardware has the tools, parts, and supplies to power your next project. Open early and stocked with everything you need. Stop by South Decatur near Russell. McFadden Dale Industrial Hardware. Fast, easy, and built for the pros.
The city of brotherly love. Well, at least that's what they call Philadelphia. Though it is the season for their fans to boo Santa, so we can really say what will happen. We know one thing that'll happen. The Raiders will be there this Sunday to take on the Eagles. Catch all the action starting Sunday at 8 with pregame, and the kickoff is set for 10 on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the De Casta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Wrap back. Cole puts it down. Carlson's kick is right down Las Vegas Boulevard, but it is good with zeros on the clock. So Carlson adds 3, but that is how this game comes to an end. You know, Pete Carroll's talking to the official, like, even if that goes through with 1 second, onside kick takes at least a second. What if you're going to try to recover it? So that was going to end the game no matter what, and it does. 24-17. Raiders fall at home to the Broncos, but they do score 17 for the first time in 5 games.
Wow, 17 for the first time in 5 games. Wow, that's tough to hear. But that was the backdoor cover as we bring in Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management, who was at the game. Great to see you and your family there. How do you put that in perspective with all the backdoor covers you've seen in your entire career?
That was one that stands out, especially because how much money was wagered on that game being a local game. We actually had a lot of sharp support, plus 7.5 and plus 8. So straight bets we ended up losing to that. But the public ties the Broncos up in the parlays with the spread minus 7.5, minus 8. And we were just a small loser to the game based on that result.
Did you sense that was coming? Because I didn't, and I'm doing the post-game show. I'm in the booth, and I'm about to go on the air, and I just realized when there was a delay, and then they spiked the ball, I said, oh, boy, they're going to do that. And initially, I knew why he was going to do it, because he wanted to get a chance for an onside kick. And what I think a lot of people are missing nationally is that the Raiders haven't been even attempting field goals, and they're not really attempting. Their special teams has been a mess this year, that Pete Carroll's all about competition. He wanted to get another field goal unit practice out there and attempt it and practice an onside kick. Like him or not, that's who he is. He competes to the end. But, man, Bronco fans, I had Bronco fans screaming, running out of the place for what happened to them on the bet.
Yeah, we didn't see that one coming, and especially because it took the late flag.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
You know, if they don't throw that flag, then it just runs out, and that's the end of the game. It wasn't in my thoughts to expect.
What's the super contest going this year in regards to bad beats and storylines compared to all your years in the past? What's the big picture story on how difficult it is to pick winners this year for the public?
Our Survivor is already over. It's concluded winner. When you look at that and take into account the spreads, super contest, you're getting a lot of mixed results based on that. So it's been a little bit tougher than years past.
Let's go season win totals and who blew through it. I think the Raiders nowhere near. The under's going to hit. Denver on the over. The Patriots on the over. Who are some of the other teams that are really important here over the next couple of weeks to go over their win total?
Well, we had a lot of money on the Packers, and they're on pace to do it. They're not too far off. You know, we made the adjustment when they added Mike Parsons, being a very it's not really out. But like you mentioned, the Raiders, that one has already gone under because you know, they can't achieve any variation yet. You know, we'll see what they can do next year and what their draft position is if they can improve on it.
How about season win totals as we look at what's going to happen going forward for the Chiefs, who are on life support, and the Chargers? Let me ask you first about that Charger game last night going into overtime, and both sides of that game, especially with all the turnovers from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is safer to make the playoffs than the Chargers, but the Chargers took a big step.
Yeah, and look, really needed the Chargers last night. We had a lot of public play on Philadelphia all the way through the start of overtime, too. So that was a very big swing for us. And Philly really just struggling on offense lately. And they're I think they have to win out to go over their win total at this point. So, you have some of those top teams, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Eagles, that are struggling to make it towards their number.
Overall, I wanted to ask you too on Super Bowl odds. Any significant change in the last couple of weeks? The Rams obviously are way up there, but when I look at the Niners, and especially what's going on with Pittsburgh now after that win against the Ravens.
Well, the largest one that we've seen is Seattle is the second choice 6-1 behind the Rams at 7-2. And another large one going conversely the other way is now the Colts, losing Daniel Jones. They're out to 200-1 when just a few weeks ago they were 12-1. So that's taken the largest step back.
I saw a significant line change from the original one for the Texans and the Cardinals. I think it opened around 2.5. Now we're playing it close to 9.5, if that's accurate over at the Westgate. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, that's where we're sitting 9.5, and it's just because of how the Texans look lately, and their defense is doing the game. So we're sitting with a total of 42.5, and it's going to be tough for Cardinals to score in this position. And the Texans are at an all-time high right now for the respect they're getting in their power rating.
Has there been sharp money on the Patriots from the initial line of the Bills 4.5? Now I see it 1 to 1.5. Patriots getting points at home, considering they already beat the Bills out in Buffalo.
Well, when we reopened this on Sunday, we opened at Buffalo -1 and immediately took some sharp play Patriots, so it went down to pick, and that's where we currently sit.
Where do you sit on the Colts now with just overall with this Phillip Rivers move, the breaking news on him? He's going to play at some point, not this week against the Seahawks, but going the rest of the way on how they need to win at least 2 more games to make the playoffs, and it's going to be tough sledding.
Yeah, it's really tough. They have a tough schedule, too, because they get the Niners at home the week after that. But, we saw a line move where we were sitting at 10.5 on the Seahawks this week, and now we went up to 13.5 based on the quarterback situation. It shocks me about him coming out of retirement because now it's going to push his Hall of Fame bid back 5 more years if he ends up getting anything. So a really weird predicament for the Colts and a tough road ahead for him.
Jeff Sherman, VP Risk Management over at the Westgate, does a tremendous job. Let's jump in on the NBA Cup. Any changes on that? You talked about it not being a big handle. I asked you about it 2 or 3 weeks ago. Has anything changed there considering how good some of those top-heavy teams are?
Yeah, we're starting to see the handle pick up for these, and most notably tomorrow's game, the Lakers and Spurs. So the Lakers return home from a road trip. They're laying 4.5 to San Antonio. We're already seeing that support. And, once they get to these quarterfinals, that's when they come to Las Vegas on Saturday for the semifinals. So we'll really see the handle pick up in that aspect. But Thunder, they're a large favorite against the Suns in one quarterfinal. If it were to be Thunder Lakers out here, that would be tremendous handle.
A strong opinion, which I always get from you, on Notre Dame being out and James Madison and Tulane being in, on how that affects the handle early in the college football playoff.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt our handle if it was converse where Notre Dame was in, because James Madison now get 21.5 points against Oregon. Look, really doesn't like to get behind those type of games too much. They want a better team, but not when they have to win by such a large margin. Same thing with the Tulane-Ole Miss game, 17-point spread in that one. So, if we had the teams that were left out, even a Texas would have been much better for us had they gotten in. So there's some things they need to fix with this.
Where do you have Alabama, Oklahoma? If you can give me a moment on that. My son's going to that game. Oklahoma already won and beat him at home, playing in the SEC, coming out of the Big 12. And now Alabama's got to beat him again at home, which would be a plus for them to beat them twice, a school like Alabama. Where's the sharp money on that one?
Well, we opened Alabama a 1.5-point favorite at Oklahoma, and now it's down to pick. So the sharp money has shown up on Oklahoma so far.
Wow. Jeff, you're the best. Good to see your family out there. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, JT.
Jeff Sherman, kind enough to bring his wife and lovely daughter out to the Torch. Nice people come out to the Torch, Clay, not the people that yell at me on the internet. They never come. Nice people like the Shermans come. And they have a nice time. They get a photo, and Eric Allen's there signing selfies and having a good time. That hour just flew by. I got 3 more to do tonight and 1 more to do today. This hour coming up, we're supposed to have Levi Edwards and Howard Balzer, who will join us, the Hall of Fame voters. So if you want to jump in, number's easy, 702-365-9200. We're brought to you by Modelo, the official cerveza of the Raiders and the official beer of fans with the fighting spirit. Modelo is a proud partner of mine. I drink Modelo. I love my bucket of Modelo. I love the taste of Modelo. I love everything about Modelo's team and what they do for our show on the flagship.
'Tis the season for Sunday night football, so get ready to listen.
All right, let's spend some time in the chat. Smash the like button, hang out with some people here, do what I do. Fire away, fire away. Kenny Clark's the last person I see here. So fire away in the chat, and I'll try to do some rapid fire.
Hello Especial is a rich, flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste. Brewed.
I don't like bloody beers. I don't drink. Clay, do you drink any of those beers that have Bloody Marys?
Stuff in it, and it's not a good beer.
Ooh, yeah, I don't drink that stuff.
Yeah, oranges.
Oranges, Bloody Mary mix. No, that's not my thing. I'm sure they have a great brand. It's just not my thing. Yep, JT at the Torch. That's what I tell all the trolls now. Come see me at the Torch. All the wise asses with their Raider gear on, busting my balls. I say, come up to the Torch, man. Let me buy you a beer. None of them show up. I'm shocked by that.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I didn't like Allegiant having a Bronco fans, but what how do you ask me what's my take? What do you think my take is on the Donkey fans wearing orange at Allegiant Stadium? What answer do you want to hear from me? I hate it. So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Say, I love it? I want to see more? You know I hate it, so why do you ask me something fucking stupid like that? I don't like Donkey fans or Niner fans or Chief fans in the building. They're going to be in the building, A, because the Raiders aren't winning, and B, because fans are selling their tickets. Now my son will tell me, Dad, stop cursing and don't yell. Fans, Allegiance. How do you feel about the Raiders losing, JT? How do you feel about opposing fans being in our buildings? What do you think? Get in and out quickly. Go to mride.com to book your ride today. Use promo code BRICK for 10% off. That's mride.com, promo code BRICK. This is JT for the Hall of Excellence Sports Museum at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. At the Hall of Excellence, sports legends live on through iconic artifacts. See Jackie Robinson's barrier-breaking bat, all 7 of Tom Brady's championship rings, and so much more. Each piece tells a story of greatness and game. Do I like defense or offense with the first-round pick? I like a quarterback. How could you not? I like a quarterback.
It's grand opening. Join them this Thursday from 4:30 to 7 p.m. at 210 North Gibson Road in Henderson.
What do you like, Clay? A quarterback or best player available?
Well, you never go wrong with BPAs, but if they don't get a quarterback, they'll learn the credit. It's got to be a QB.
Dealership to check out the tough, no-nonsense Ineos Grenadier. Built to conquer any terrain with unstoppable durability. Finlay, Ineos Grenadier, where adventure begins.
For the past 70 years, Les Olson IT has businesses succeed. And for the last decade, we've also been the trusted name in IT services, delivering innovation to protect what matters most. This holiday season,
Well, I appreciate you loving the passion. Thanks, Tim.
cybersecurity to secure office.
I'm not telling anybody where to spend their money. If you don't want to go to the game, that's unfortunate. I'll be at all the games.
Give your business peace of mind this season.
Why does every show on ESPN have 8 people? There's Fantasy NBA today. There's 2 WNBA players, and Bobby Marks. It's an NBA show. Does the WNBA show have 2 NBA players too? I mean, look, I'm all for women being on TV. I love it. Empower women so you don't clip that. ESPN is not developing a lot of stars, man. There's just too many people on these shows.
They're just trying to throw shit at the wall.
Yeah.
We're back.
Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m. KRL, Las Vegas. It's the treat people break.
Like, it's just, we don't win much. And I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about him.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years. I will play harder and longer than guy lining up across the team lining up across from me. And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's for the Raiders and the I expect excellence every day. And that home beers, JT, the break.
Hour number 2 of the show. JT, my voice is lightly coming back. I had a rough week. Had a lot of friends in town celebrating a milestone birthday for me. It was overwhelming. Big, and really cool, and saw some family and friends. And when they left, I had my biggest swing of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on Mad Dogs. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on this show. Pete Carroll interview today. Raiders roundtable yesterday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays. It's not hard. It's just a lot of work. But when you're not winning, it adds to it. And we need some wins, but a lot of Raider fans don't want to win anymore. They want to get the top pick in the draft. I'm not going to sit here and fight with people over that. Whatever you want to do, you do. Whatever makes you happy, make you happy. It's the holiday season. The big breaking news is Phillip Rivers signing with the Colts practice squad at the age of 44. He last played in an NFL game January 9th, 2021. That's 1,795 days ago. So this is a big decision. I think this is a fascinating topic. I'd like to get your opinion on it. You know, the bar trivia you all need to know as a Raider fan. Who has beaten the Raiders more than any other player? How about that, Clay? I do that all the time, and no one knows. Who has beaten the Raiders individually more than any player in NFL history? Phillip Rivers. He has that title. He's beaten the Raider organization more than anyone. You know who else is on that list? LaDainian Tomlinson. But Rivers got him beat. Because Rivers played longer. Nope, it's not John Elway. It's Phillip Rivers. Raiders beat Elway a lot in the 80s. They did. I thought the Raiders beat Rivers, okay, a bunch too, but Rivers won a lot of games in San Diego and Oakland against the Raiders. He did. So what makes this topic so fascinating is that we've run out of quarterbacks. We don't have any. Okay, I know the trade deadline. I think Derek Carr would be the perfect fit for that. 34 years old. His injury's got to be healing. He was injured a while ago. I know there's a trade deadline that came and went. And I'm not saying he's not doing it. They went with Rivers, but I thought that Carr or Carson Wentz, a guy like that would be better. You know, we've gone through Tyrod Taylor how many times now? How many times has Tyrod Taylor played in this league? We're running out of quarterbacks. And then the backup quarterbacks on some of these teams aren't very good. They're not. I mean, would Dylan Gabriel be a player you'd trade for next year to bring to the Colts? No. But why would you sign Daniel Jones going forward? He played on a broken fibula, and he blew out his Achilles. I wouldn't give him money. I mean, I think he's a good player, and I hope he gets paid, but that's damaged goods. You're going to give a guy guaranteed money in a contract with those type of injuries? So I think Derek Carr eventually is going to come back and play in the league. I do. You might not. And then today's topic, which none of the beer muscle guys want to talk about. So I'd like to get the common sense fans. Do you want Kenny Pickett or Geno? Cat out your tongue? Isn't that what we're here? Do you want Kenny Pickett or Geno? I just asked the coach today, so it's good. I know a lot of people say, well, JT won't like that. Well, if you trash Geno on the flagship station, I won't like it. But if you want Kenny Pickett to play, why would I have a problem with that? I want Kenny Pickett to start over Geno. What's the problem there? So why do you want to see Kenny Pickett play? And here's what's going to get the Raider fans all worked up. I thought you didn't want to win. I thought you Raider fans don't want to win. You want to get a draft pick. So you think Kenny Pickett's better, then you're a bit confused. Everybody's saying in my chat, Pickett, Pickett, Pickett. Well, let me ask you this. What if Pickett gives the Raiders a better chance to win, and you Raider fans who think there's a mythical draft pick named Mendoza, and you lose out on that? What happens? 702-365-9200. Who do you want to play quarterback? Not the rest of the year, the next game. And Clay, isn't it an interesting topic? Because I think Pickett, going back to a team he played with and knowing him a little bit, give the Raiders the better chance to play. And there's some guys that you work with and around that don't want the Raiders to win because the draft pick's a bigger topic.
But then again, the Eagles' defense have outlawed any sort of surprise. Their offense, though, seems to keep certain opponents in the games when they don't deserve to be, and it makes you feel like, is there somebody on this roster that could play quarterback that gives them a chance to win? I don't know at this point. I really don't.
Yeah,
whether it's Pickett or Geno.
I'm going to push back on that. I think Aiden O'Connell, if the Raiders block a kick or the Raiders play well or the Raiders, Greg Olsen, we can't forget about Greg Olsen, who wants to put his stamp on this team before he's not brought back or brought back in a different capacity. This is Greg Olsen's team and moment now. He runs the offense. If I'm Greg, and I know Greg, I'm going balls out to try to show Pete Carroll that I can run this offense. And if Kenny Pickett gives him a better chance to do that, wouldn't you be lobbying to get him in the game? And Aiden O'Connell beat Kansas City in Kansas City. And Philly's not playing well now. I find it a fascinating topic because I think Kenny Pickett healthy gives us a better chance than Geno healthy, let alone than Geno banged up.
It does. And, it's funny because how Kenny and Aiden O'Connell are very similar in age. And yet we still want to see what Aiden O'Connell has because he still has time left on his tenure here with the Las Vegas Raiders. But at the same time, I still remember that second to last game of the year, he found a way to win in New Orleans. And the Raiders' offensive line dominated in that game, and he played well, 2 touches, no interceptions. I'd still like to see what's under the hood for Aiden O'Connell.
So would I. If Aiden, I didn't like Aiden being an emergency quarterback. I thought Aiden should have played. But then Kenny Pickett in mop-up duty went out and played very well. Very well. And I asked Pete Carroll about it. You'll hear it tomorrow. He played well. And I think that he could go out there and give you a chance to win. And Philadelphia, I watched that whole Philadelphia game last night. They were a mess. Since 1978. Since 1978, Jalen Hurts is the only player to turn the ball over twice on one play. He threw a pick, then he got the ball back, and then he fumbled it. You want to talk about going bad. That's going bad in a big way. So I'm pretty fascinated with what's going to happen going forward. I am. I'm fascinated in what's going forward because what's confusing to a lot of fans is that fans don't seem to understand that Pete Carroll wants to continue to put the best out there. Put the best out there. And for the fans who don't understand that, I really get concerned on how you don't get that. I really don't. I mean, if you don't want Pete Carroll's son to coach, if you want the Raiders to lose games, I get all that. I'm not arguing with that. But to think that Pete Carroll's not going to get on a plane from Las Vegas to fly to Philadelphia, to sit in a hotel room for 2 nights with his coaches and players and try to win the game and try to coach well and do the only thing he knows how to do, where did we lose you on that one? Where did you kind of get lost in the sauce, as my son would say? When did you think that professional football coaches and guys like Max and Brock Bowers weren't going to warm up and stretch and put their uniform on and tie up their cleats and try to go out there and play hard and win? So you have a unique time for the first time in my 28-year career here. You have a very good opportunity to rest people and play younger players. And I have no problem with that. It's probably the first time I've ever said that, if you followed me. When have I ever said that? I'm saying it now. I've said it for a week. If you want to sit guys and give them limited reps, because you don't want them to have any more wear and tear and take any more hits, I got no problem with that. It normally doesn't happen. Normally it doesn't happen. They want to play every play. And Max is the perfect example. Open lines. Here's Richard in Monterey. Hello, Richard.
Hey, JT. Hey, I'm one of those guys that I want to win. I'm not worried about the draft pick. It's not where you pick, but how you pick. And we can go on and on for that. The reason I like to see Kenny is, and over Aiden for the rest of the way, is because Aiden's under contract next year. We traded a 5th round pick for Kenny Pickett. I just want to see what he's got left in the tank. He's a young kid. I don't mean that in a bad way, because he's a previous starter, previous 1st round pick. And we've seen throughout the league that, I'm not saying the next Baker Mayfield, the next Sam Darnold, but even Mac Jones has been playing well this year. I mean, he was picked in the 1st round for a reason. I just want to see why he was picked in the 1st round. He's got the traits, like you brought it up, JT. He gets rid of the ball quick. I like that. He's athletic right now behind that offensive line. He can move in the pocket, and we see what Philadelphia can do. Even the Giants can get after the quarterback. The team's down the stretch. But I want to win, JT. I'd like to see Kenny Pickett, just see what he has the last 4 weeks. And if it's someone we want to bring back, great. If not, great.
So
but
you're not
see that.
Yeah, so you're not enamored with Mendoza to the point that you're just nuts in saying we got to lose to get Mendoza, who we've never really seen playing a big game until the other day, the Big Ten championship game. He's been good, but enough to lose games. You're not enamored with him yet.
Not yet. I'm sorry, JT. And I do watch some college ball. I followed Mendoza a little bit when he was at Cal. I wasn't big on him in that championship game. I mean, he had I feel a pedestrian kind of day. He threw for like over 200 yards, touchdown, a pick. It was nothing like eye-opening, He could be a great quarterback, but that's the thing with the draft. It's so hit or miss. I mean, look at J.J. McCarthy out in Minnesota, right? You know, some people think Trevor Lawrence hasn't lived up to the label. Kyler Murray. You know, we can go on and on. I'm not there yet. I want to win games, and I guarantee JT, the players in the locker room, from Max Crosby to Deuce to any of those guys, they want to win games. They don't want to lose just because some of the fan base wants to lose. And I have faith in the front office. I have faith in Spytek that he can draft and draft well. One draft doesn't seal the deal for him yet. You know, he's still working on his craft. That's just how I feel.
Okay. Wow. That's really good. I mean, thank you for the call. It was just a good, well-formed phone call. And I'd like to get more of that today, if we don't have a problem with that. 702-365-9200. He was very composed. He doesn't want to tank. He wants to win. He understands the process, and he's not enamored with a pick that we don't have. Sometimes people just say they want the highest pick overall, and that's ridiculous. Thinking that you know the player who's going to be involved in the highest pick overall, unless it's the number 1 pick. I'll even go as far as the number 2 pick. And it looks like to me, Clay, I don't know what you think on that the Raiders, I don't know if it's going to be number 1, but I'm pretty confident the Raiders are going to get the number 1 or 2 pick. And if they do, they can get whoever they want.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, they control their destiny.
Whoever they want, they can get at 1 and 2. They're not going to lose anybody now. They could lose Mendoza. They could. And you sit back and go, okay, is that career defining for the Raiders? I doubt it. He's not John Elway, Andrew Luck. He's not Caleb Williams coming out. He's not. So, but the Raiders are going to get whoever they want. But I'll be the hype man to hype up the draft when we get to March and April. I have no problem with that. I'm good with that. But to say right here that you know what the pick's going to be is a bit rough. Mikey in Staten, Italy. Thanks for watching the YouTube feed and calling the show.
Hey, love it, JT. This is one thing I took from that game on Sunday with the Raiders. They don't quit. They might not have the talent of these other teams. They don't quit. And anybody that says anything about kicking that last field goal, you said it the best, JT. Their special teams have been shit. Excuse me, I apologize.
Drop that, Claude. Thanks. Go ahead.
But they did a last-second field goal. That's for the future. That's to see if you're going to keep calls. And I have no problem with that. And that's why Vegas is Vegas, and they have the big lights with backdoor covers.
Hey, but Mikey, you've seen backdoor covers before. When you see people making threats on social media and losing their mind, what type of gambler are they? That's a really unique question. When a gambler loses their mind that badly, how do you categorize them? Because you're a professional gambler. What category do you put them in?
Exactly that. That's not a professional gambler. That's a guy that had maybe $10, $20 on a parlay or got knocked out of an offer survivor pool with the point spread. That's not a real gambler. But you didn't have to take that tough stuff serious. JT, the biggest thing that changed this world was that United Healthcare CEO getting shot in cold blood because he was getting threats from that guy and you don't take it serious. Now, everybody, these warriors behind their keypad, the one that is screaming at you, you got to take them serious now. And unfortunately, it's just overwhelming. The World Wide Web is a great thing, except for that, except poor kids getting bullied or, on it. It's not the professional gambler, but you win some, you lose some. I guarantee you the professional shop were on the Raiders because whenever the public is 80% or more, you go the other way. And everybody was on that. JT, the thing I took from this thing and who I loved, and I don't know if you can get the numbers to see how he graded out after that game, Caleb Rogers. Yeah. I think they got a steal in the 3rd round. The 98th pick of the thing, I thought he hit anything near him. And they realized right away, Denver, that vaunted up that they didn't go on his side. And he played a hell of a game. That is a building block. Maybe he could have been in there a lot earlier, but I love that kid. He's nasty. He was hitting everybody. He was the first one to run. We needed that. The minute Smith was down, he came over, picked him up. That, you know what? He's a building block. And what else can you say for Max Crosby? The guy gives 100% effort every time. And I can't believe this year it was his career high already for tackles with losses. The guy is in my opinion, is the next surefire Hall of Famer for the Raiders.
Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate it. Good seeing you out there. Mikey was kind enough to take my son to UFC, which I thought was really cool. Appreciate you right there. Thank you so much. Howard Balzer will join us at the bottom of the hour. He is the Hall of Fame voter. He's going to check in, and we're going to hear from him on a couple of different topics. TJ in Minnesota. What's going on, TJ?
I'm just calling you from snowy Minnesota today, and I want to start off by apologizing to you for being so frustrated. I was at Arrowhead, and you took my call. I was in the parking lot on Sirius listening, and I just at the end of the day, I want to first address the Max Crosby situation. To me, I understand his passion and love for wanting to be out there. It's the same passion that makes me the same way you get on here and you have the passion. I'm going to continue to love this team. It ain't just tattooed on the man's body. It's tattooed in his heart. He continues to show up and do what he's doing. And all this talk about tanking, I don't never want to tank. If I'm spending my money and I'm going to see a product, I want people out there that are giving their best. So the Colts tank to get better because let's be honest, we've hit really good on drafting here and there, but
no, we haven't. We haven't hit really good on drafting in a long time around here.
It was sarcasm. It was sarcasm. I'm not really good at doing it like my wife is, but it's a situation where the last time we had the number one pick, I don't need to remind Greater Nation how that played out. So be careful what you ask for. And the point that you brought up is so solid. I want us to win. So let's hypothetically say we don't have the first pick. Given the fact that, like you said, if New York ends up in that situation, or Tennessee, given the fact that neither one of them need a quarterback, they're going to trade that pick away. They'd be blocking us. So be careful what you ask for. But, man, keep doing what you're doing. My frustration is just, it's like, the people that have been acting unruly and crazy online and saying these things, you can't have it both ways. Either you want us to be good or you don't. But if you do want us to be good and you do believe in brand, if you believe in the field, then shut up, enjoy, and just think about the future. Because obviously we all have a past, so there's got to be a lot of upside on this future. I did want to say I like Mateer. As a possibility too. I want to just put all the eggs in the Mendoza basket if that happens.
Okay, my friend, I got to run. I got to wrap up the call. Remember, beginning, middle, and end. Thank you for calling from Kansas City, and thank you for calling today. He doesn't want to put all his eggs in one basket. Very quickly, as I had friends and family in town this weekend. Again, we had family and friends in town this weekend, and my wife was able to take them to Fontainebleau. My cousins wanted to see Fontainebleau, and we got them set up at the Hall of Excellence for a quick tour, the rarest memorabilia, the world's most celebrated icons. After that, they walked around there for about an hour and a half, had lunch, loved it. My cousin said to me, I cannot believe this place exists. And she comes to Vegas every 2 or 3 years, but she hadn't been to the Fontainebleau. So on top of Muhammad Ali's boxing gloves, to Oprah Winfrey's Presidential Medal of Freedom, the memorabilia from Elvis Presley's era when he returned to Vegas, Jackie Robinson's barrier-breaking bat, all 7 of Tom Brady's Super Bowl rings. They're not in Miami. They're not in New England. They're in Vegas at Fontainebleau, the Hall of Excellence. People just get blown away, and we're happy to be a proud partner with them. So we recommend Fontainebleau and the Hall of Excellence on how they do just a fantastic job. If you've never been to the Fontainebleau before, you're going to be blown away. Go check it out, especially during the holiday season. Howard Balzer, who covers Kyler Murray, could he be in consideration to become a Raider down the road because of his age and his talent level, and the fact that the Hall of Fame could hold back Phillip Rivers? I'll get to that next. Thank you, everybody. I am out. That is how long? 1 hour and 23 minutes of free YouTube entertainment and Facebook and X. Thank you all for being here. Tomorrow we'll have a big show, as we always do. Mad Dog tonight. Yes, Mad Dog 8 to 11 p.m. Pacific.